Welcome to the Making of YOR, a podcast where we turn ideas into game mechanics for our upcoming tabletop RPG, YOR. If you'd like to stay up to date on the developments of YOR, head over to our Discord. Link is in the description. And we're back.
We're back. Hasn't been a long time for you, been a long time for us.
Yeah. It was just last week for you all.
Mm-hmm. That's why we did a shitload of these in advance, so we could take time off.
Yeah. All right. So in the interim, we've worked on some stuff that we've kind of modified here and there in advance. Nothing probably big enough to make note of right now.
Now finished off some of our travel table ideas.
Yeah.
Decided we hated feats.
That's the one that stands to note, is that we started thinking that feats didn't really do what we wanted them to do, and
people were really only excited for the T-pose feat, so we wanted to make all of them that cool.
Yeah, if we can, we're going to try and do that. But I think what it ended up affecting was, like, we weren't sure of all the things we'd made, like boons and stuff like that. Feats we knew were going to somehow relate to the advancement. Like, they weren't directly tied to the advancement of your class, but they were an indicator that you were
far
progressing
along the path you were.
Yeah, to your next stage in your class. And so the class obviously indicates a capacity, like level. As you go from tier 1 to tier 2, you have developed and you have greater capacity in whatever
You've advanced.
Your chosen path of learning. So the things in that category you're now better at, which we've talked some about what tier 2 might look like on the podcast, but it's really still up in the air as to what it's going to be. But feats were originally, we were building them not completely unlike D&D feats.
Yeah, just
and
basic minor benefits.
And we decided we don't like that. And
because they're boring.
It's boring, and
we're getting rid of all the boring shit.
In a game.
Only cool shit in our game.
For sure. I mean, that's like, well, and we wanted a narrative game.
Yeah.
And with keeping damage numbers low and all that other stuff, having feats that are just like raw stat increases, it actually makes balancing the game a lot harder as you get to like tier 3. And if you have a person who's only taken stat increase feats, like, he's going to truck in combat compared to the people who have taken fun, cool feats. He may not be able to do as many things.
Yeah, that +1 to damage is mechanically good because you're 1/6 more likely to kill a goblin in one shot, but it is really boring. You're never like, oh, that +1 killed that goblin for me. But every time you're T-posing down the street, flexing your wizard powers, that comes up.
Yeah. Well, and let's say we limited the +1 to damage to only once per tier. You still get to tier 3, and that's +3 damage, which is insane. You know, if you're looking at the fighter taking
a 50% damage bump.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much to be gaining that way. So we're just getting rid of it. It makes damage numbers easier to balance. And when you take a feat, your feat's going to play a part, just like the fact that you chose a class.
Yeah.
It will play a part in defining the kind of character you're playing. It's more interesting than just a number.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vein, we're changing the name of feats. We think right now talents is what we're going to go with, but we might come up with something else
better.
But feats as a name is going. To be honest, the only reason people say feats in this context is because D&D
said them,
because really the definition of the word doesn't really even fit with what this is.
Yeah, a feat is not a +1 to damage.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. A feat is not the sentinel ability in D&D. Like, it's never really the right use of the word. So we're just going to ditch it. Start with talents, and who knows? Might change it in a later edition.
We may decide it's boring and throw it in the trash like everything else.
Mm-hmm. But we will be keeping probably this mechanic, whatever we name it. Because
you got to be able to pick stuff.
Yeah, being able to have kind of an not totally unpredictable, but a relatively unpredictable control to your character, so that your
character can grow outside of level ups.
Yeah, outside of the class. And we know we have boons for that as well. But having
But those
something,
are all like dependent on your DM giving them to you.
they are.
You got to have some agency in your character.
Yeah. This is just something you can pick, which is great because it's something you can kind of, we want you to have a little bit you can look into the book and say, I'd like to get that. But not.
Not, I want to be a vampire. I pick that.
Yeah, exactly. So, talents we're definitely getting rid of is like plus to HP, +1 damage rolls. All of just the flat stat increases are going. And I think there's a couple others we were talking about getting rid of.
I figure we just start fresh and we can go through
Yeah.
and nuke all those after we've talked about new ones and gotten an idea on what we're after.
Sweet. What are you thinking? You got anything?
Well, I talked a little earlier about that. I like the eat people feat.
Okay. And how does this, what is this? I mean, I guess it lets you eat people.
Yeah, it's like you can dispose of a corpse one size smaller than yourself by eating it.
Are we, is this have some kind of prerequisite?
I don't think so, because like, a medium creature could eat a small one. Maybe.
Is there a no cannibalism prerequisite or?
I don't know. I feel like if you get caught, that's probably going to be some explaining, but that's on you.
Okay. So then what happens if you try to, okay. How is this going to compare to if you try to consume a creature one tier smaller than you without the feat?
I mean, I feel like you could probably eat it, but it'd take you like a day. Because I think a human body has something like 100,000 calories in it.
Okay.
And it's anybody who's ever like tried to do bodybuilding knows how hard it is to eat even 10,000 calories a day.
And so this lets you eat a size category smaller than you.
Yeah, say once an hour.
Once an hour. And what about one that's equal to your size? Does it affect that?
Probably not.
Okay. So for half giants, this feat means I can.
You can dispose of bodies very effectively.
I'm as we have it built right now, the only large
creature. Yeah.
large playable race. Well, probably the Warforged will have a
they'll
large.
have an expanded size option, but we haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any benefit you gain from consuming a creature? It just counts as your daily nutrition.
Yeah. Any day you do this, you do not have to eat other food. You can eat regular food and water or an entire body.
Is there any maximum to the number of creatures you can consume in a day other than 24?
I don't think so. I think if you start like dawn to dusk, like you 100 like full day, you can just eat 24 bodies.
Gosh. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, it'd be like not like adult bodies, it'd be like child bodies.
Well, if
you eat 24 children a day.
I mean, I can eat 24 people a day if Gael takes it.
Yeah, you could eat like 24 whole ass adults, but
Gael is my half giant in the pre-alpha actual play we're doing right now, which hasn't released yet, but
and may never be.
Probably not. Whenever we do an actual play, it'll probably be a different campaign.
Yeah, something when we know what we're doing and how the game works.
Yeah.
And not just, you don't have that anymore. We got rid of it last week.
Yeah, which was going to happen pretty soon to Jason. We're going to say, sorry, your character doesn't have that anymore.
It's already happened once whenever they're like, no, erase those stats you have.
Yep.
Just move your skills over and pretend. Also pick your numbers again.
Yeah.
They're different now.
All right.
What about like I do like Iron Will from Deep Rock Galactic.
So like a get back up thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. Do we want that to be a talent, or are we just going to put that somewhere in like the barbarian tree?
Oh, yeah. Table it. We'll have to work on Barbarian, because I don't know. We don't know. He's a tier 2 class, so we don't really know what he looks like.
Yeah. I'll put Iron Will question mark.
Yeah.
We might come back to that. What about, I don't know where else we would put this, but what about like a shield throw ability?
Oh, like, so any shield you have, you can like ricochet back to you. It's like just a D6 weapon.
Yeah.
Ranged weapon.
Yes, maybe a D6 ranged weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Captain Fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt, if we put that feat in the game, people will take that
absolutely. Who doesn't like a good shield throw that comes back to you?
If you were going to carry a shield, you definitely would love the ability to throw that shield.
Absolutely.
And it makes it to where, you know, we don't have to worry. I actually like the idea that we leave a lot of stuff here and, you know, like we'll create some cool magic weapons that have like crazy properties. But we'll be able to keep magic weapon stuff pretty simple if a lot of their stuff is just, oh, you do an extra point of damage.
Yeah, I can do this with any shield I'm holding. I don't need a magic one to make it come
this
back.
is an
I'm
ability.
Just good.
I'm like Captain America.
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't
do
have
fucking geometry in my head, bitch.
Yeah, not to say that his vibranium shield,
doesn't help,
isn't special, but it's not magical. It's not what makes it come back to him.
No.
You know?
It's superlative material, but he could do that with, you know, pencils and stuff, I bet.
Yeah. Or at least,
and so can you, Mr. Fantasy Adventurer.
Yes, you can. So shield throw, as long as you're within, what, 10 or 15 feet? Maybe 15 feet?
Yeah, 15 feet.
Yeah. Can you throw, will it return to you immediately, or can you only throw it once per round? Like it returns to you at the end of your turn?
Well, I think, because I think you could only ever hit one person with it at a time. So, like, if you're a fighter, you could throw it twice, but that'd be using your regular action and your quick action.
Oh, sure. So maybe we just make it an action then.
Yeah, it's
not a quick action. Of course, it is just an action.
Yeah, it's just an attack.
So you'd only be able to ever do it once anyway.
Yeah, well, I think letting it treat it as a ranged weapon with 15-foot range increment that comes back to you on your turn, sort of like with everything else we've built, writes it all out. So it would be like throwing a hammer, but it wouldn't have any of the buffs or whatever, but you do get a +1 damage reduction for holding it.
So then a fighter would be able to use it twice.
Yes.
Because if it's a ranged weapon,
you
then
can
he would
throw
be able to throw it
and use either one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we want to say like how D&D does that it has the returning property? Like, is that a property we're going to have on weapons, or should I just
think
say
it'll
this
be
is special?
a magical weapon property.
You think returning will be a magical weapon property?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can just put in the feat somewhere the shield returns to you via ricochet or something. You can bounce it back to you or to any other space.
Okay.
Or you can choose to either leave the shield where it hit or make it bounce back to you. That would be cool if you could throw it, stick it in a wall, and then jump on it.
All right. Shield throw. A shield you are wielding, any shield you are wielding is treated as a ranged weapon with a range of 15 feet. When you make an attack using this talent, you may choose to have it ricochet back to you.
Yeah.
Which implies that you don't have to make it ricochet back to you.
Yeah. Dig that. Cool. Cannibalism and shield throw. This is what we're after.
That's a gambit right there.
Absolutely.
Those are very different kinds of players that pick those 2 feats.
100%. All right. I need a human skull, and you can't ask why. All right, but you can't ask why either. What? Here's 6. Pick one.
We discussed when we came up with this idea.
Yeah.
That learning a cantrip would potentially be a talent.
Yeah.
What should some of the magical things you can do look like? Should should it be as simple as learn a cantrip, or do we want it to be something more, I don't know, uniquely specific than that?
What about like, you know how in the animes you can like slash and a wind blade or whatever will come out?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could make a ranged melee attack.
So is that, what are we going to attack? I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to say, like, we are planning on putting something, in my mind, the anime-ish, like that kind of thing, was probably already going to exist in Key Blast Guy.
Oh, yeah.
In the Immortal class.
Yeah, you're probably right. So magic. Well, I figure we can make cantrip a feat anyway.
Yeah, because that looks like a lot of different, it's really simple here, but what it really is who knows what. There's multiple cantrips
there's
you
a
can pick
bunch
from.
of them.
So, and I feel like that's also one that people will take a lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, to be honest, that's something that I would almost immediately drop the feat that I currently have to take learn a cantrip.
Or whatever.
Yeah, to take learn a cantrip.
Absolutely. Considering the conversation you guys keep having, the minute Torgin's like, oh, where's your elemental power? And you go, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. 50 years. I learned this in 2 days.
Honestly, I'm definitely going to be like, higgity spliggity, because that's what he's been doing in the game. And I'm just going to be like, I know how to do this now.
This is not as hard as you implied.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's a feat for that alone.
Yeah. Okay. Learn
Feels
a
real
cantrip.
witchy.
Learn a cantrip. And do we want to put a requirement on that? Okay. Or would it be, this is no requirement?
Yeah. I don't, we can just ignore requirements for stuff right now.
Okay.
And if we get into them, we're like, all right, this is too good. We got to put some gates on this. We got to gatekeep this feat a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Other than, so that's, I guess, kind of covers some magic-y type stuff. I don't know that we want anything stronger than a cantrip.
No.
That could be learned this way. So that probably sums up many of the like straight up magical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good intro for magic. Like, I don't want to play a magic class, but I want to have like some magic. Okay, so I know we were working on just creating stuff in a blank space, but bringing this up, we had poultice and triage. Oh, yeah.
And I'm starting to like a little bit dislike those in the way that they're built.
They're like complicated, right?
And I think they're a little too complicated.
Yeah,
and I feel like
just be an ability.
I feel like maybe, I mean, I don't want the removal of wounds, even if you take a talent, to just be easy, to just be rote, guaranteed. You can just always remove wounds all the time.
Yeah.
I want wounds to be threatening so that you want to avoid getting them, and you're just not like, well, I took this talent so that wounds never matter. That's not good. But maybe to keep it on theme, like learn a cantrip is, maybe there's a talent that lets you make basic potions or something.
Yeah.
Or gives you like, maybe there's a talent that's, I mean, I don't know that. So like we have bushcraft, which I guess bush or medicine was the one that we had for, that would allow you to make potions, and poisons, I assume.
Yeah.
But,
in my head, I think science skill.
Yeah, but everything about that's going to have a role associated with it.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, does it make sense to have, here's a question. Does it make sense to have like specific definable, like you can make X potion, like a recipe book that you're not wrong. If we had something like that, would it make sense to even allow like medicine to make potions and poisons? Or is it just that you have to have this talent and then you make medicine checks? But that you can't by default use medicine to do this?
I don't think so. Because I don't want to gatekeep stuff from like the skills. Also, we don't have like potions and alchemical supplies made yet.
No, we don't.
I think before we gatekeep something like that, we at least need to have something that they can make and to determine.
Okay, so then, well, here's a question. Although this may fall under artificer. Well, no, because artificer is more permanent items.
Yeah, it'd be witch.
It'd be witch for making like potions, poisons and potions, or poison and health potions, which is kind of I think what medicine default covers.
Yeah,
probably not. It probably is not built into medicine that you could make explosives with it.
Yeah, that's more artificing.
That's either witch, or alchemist, or something else. Do we want to have anything related to that in the town? Like you can make something like alchemist fire, like you can make a basic fire potion, but alchemist obviously can make that and a lot more things. Kind of like a mage can make a cantrip, has a cantrip and a lot more.
Being able to make napalm.
I'm thinking like a fighter would want to take this to make fire grenades.
Yeah.
And like fire grenades are going to stay good, unlike alchemist fire in like some other games where it's like very quickly useless. This is going to stay good for pretty much the whole game.
Yeah.
Even if it's only like an area of whatever, 2d4, that's still good all game.
Yeah. So, thought is, how many of them is it fair for him to make? They just cost money and you can make as many as you want?
I think you can only make so many over a downtime encounter.
Okay.
There's just a limited, it's just a time issue. When you have a downtime.
Okay, now I don't mind that. Like a crafting feat that says you can just make 5 of these over a downtime encounter if that's what you want to do with it.
Yeah, like a full rest.
Yeah.
What we call the 8-hour downtime. Over a full rest you can make 3 or 5 of these. Probably 3? I feel like 3 is a good place to start. It depends.
Yeah, 3.
I think you can make like 3 grenades, basically.
Yeah.
Over a downtime. And, that means that you might build up a bit of a stock, but you're never going to have a huge stock of them. It's not going to be like, so what if you can make some and then even sell them? You're never going to be able to make that 3 a day.
Yeah.
3 over 8 hours. I don't know, unless you want to say they go bad over after a certain amount of time.
What if it's jury-rigged explosive? Over the course of a downtime, you can make 1 bomb, which is like a claymore mine or something.
Oh, I get where you're going with that, except for I feel like that's like way more technical than make a Molotov cocktail. But like also, I mean, I get what you're saying. I guess it depends on how complicated we want that to be. Like, is a claymore bomb like a pressure sensor bomb? That's more like, I feel like artificer.
Well, I mean, I was thinking something like, it could either be thrown or triggered by tripwire, but it's unstable, so you can only have 1 of these a day.
Okay, well, in that vein, how much damage do you think that thing should do?
2d6 over a 15-foot sphere.
Okay. How big is it? What's like practicality of carrying it?
1 foot.
So it's big.
I mean, like reasonably, like you can carry it around, but it's like basketball sized.
Okay. And so
maybe 2d6 over a 30-foot sphere.
My gosh.
Once a day. Provided you have like downtime.
Does this need to be like a prerequisite of tier 2?
Maybe.
Because at that power level,
maybe prerequisite artificer.
I'm okay with that, but that's now feels like a very different feat than the one I was talking about. Which I'm not saying I'm against
honestly,
it. It's just different.
I've never really liked the you craft this stuff and throw them X times a day. I like being able to throw alchemist fire, but I think like just putting that behind a skill check is like you find the ingredients, you pass the skill checks, you just make these.
Okay.
Is a better way to do it than putting it behind a feat.
Okay. So then making something like alchemist fire, because we've never put it anywhere yet.
Yeah.
As like Do you think that would be a medicine or a bushcraft check? Because it definitely medicine makes sense for poisons and health potions.
Yeah. It's probably you could probably use both, but it's probably harder as a medicine check. I think.
I guess let me go look at the skills. Have these written down somewhere? There they are. Oh. Is it a general knowledge check?
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like the one you were talking about, though, is that one that you have to make a check for, or you can just make it? Because if you have to make a check for it, I feel like it's a finesse check.
Yeah.
Because now you're bomb making. And I'm picturing like sweating guy meme, you know?
Absolutely. I don't know. Maybe we should put crafting feats to the side for now.
Okay. Like Iron Will, then I will put
Tier 2.
craft bomb.
Yep.
Question mark. Because I do like where you're going with it, but it started to feel less simple and almost started to feel more like that's like an artificer specific thing.
Yeah.
Where cantrip feels much more like real base simple.
Yeah.
And that feels a little specialized.
Yeah. It's the simpler we can make these things, the better. Just a real quick, simple ability.
All right. But I will add under skills, because I think that introducing the next time we play our little alpha, introducing this make alchemist fire thing.
Yeah.
I think we should mess with that and see how it feels.
We'll talk a little bit about, we got 3 weeks till we're going to play again.
Yeah.
Well, one of these off mic brainstorming days, we'll come up with some like alchemical stuff that you could make and things of that nature. Do you guys have some stuff to do in craft during downtime?
All right. I put it next to general knowledge for now, just so when we're scrolling through, I'll look at it and be like, oh, yeah, we're supposed to do something with this.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other strokes of genius?
What about telepathy? You can put your voice in other people's heads. It does not allow you to hear.
I think I want to put that and put a question mark.
Okay.
Because we haven't figured out where telepathy goes anywhere yet.
No.
So, because my inclination was that telepathy would fall as a boon.
Yeah. Well, I think like telepathy where you have like two-way communication probably is a boon. But I think like thinking really hard at somebody so that they hear what you're saying, but you can't hear them.
What if instead of telepathy, it was, I don't know. I think we might want to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put telepathy question mark because I think there is something we should do with that.
Okay.
I just don't know if it's like would actually be telepathy or if there's some other thing there that's like telepathy that we could mess with.
Yeah.
Only because telepathy feels like it will like be either a boon or a major boon. Because like true telepathy is probably even not a regular boon. That's pretty powerful. It's probably like either a major boon or part of a greater boon class.
A scion, a boon class or something.
Yeah. It might be both a major boon or you could get it as part of this boon class. Also probably something you can get part as a warlock pact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are defo psychic monsters out there.
Yeah.
What are some other cool like perks and abilities from stuff?
So I actually had a thought, but but first, since we're getting rid of like just raw stat talent feat things, are we assuming then that each one of these talents can only be taken once?
Yeah, for now. Like if we get into it and decide, oh, you can take the cantrip feat more than once, we'll put that in there. But it's definitely can only take once until
most of them there would be no point in taking them more than once. So I think we'll just start with assumed it can only be taken once
unless otherwise stated.
Yeah. So then, and I know that this is another kind of lame, simple one.
Yeah.
But do we want something that like, I guess that would be a raw, because we don't have there's no, is there a talent that would be like, make one of your skills a class skill? You know, I think we have, what is it, class skills and non-class skills right now.
Yeah.
So we don't really have proficiency, but this would kind of like sort of be like proficiency.
Yeah, you add a skill to your class skill tree.
Yeah. It's really lame, but it's also something that sometimes people would probably want if they were building a...
Yeah.
I don't know if that should be, maybe it's better as a minor boon.
Yeah, I think it probably is. Because that's something that the DM can hand out, not that you pick.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, it's less interesting to pick it. So I think maybe it should be a minor boon. To be honest, I think...
just take most of those and move them to minor boons.
Yeah, that's a minor boon. I don't know. I feel like I kind of like learn a cantrip as a talent.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing you should be able to pick.
Yeah, I like that. I think learn a cantrip could also be a minor boon as well, though.
I
think it could be both.
It's you drank from the wrong spring. Now you have this cantrip.
Yeah, because handing out a cantrip is kind of a fun thing to get, even if it's not particularly strong. And I think it's a cool thing to get and be like, because then it's a thing you use all the time, and you're like, I got this from a thing that happened in game.
What about like a mimicry skill? Like you're really good at sounding like other people and things.
Okay. Is that, well, I think actually, let me go down. Well, this isn't that, but we did write one feat down here called alter ego. You have an established second identity.
Okay. Well, I meant more like a lyre bird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that bird that lives in Australia that mimics like, other birds and people and cars and chainsaws and camera shutters. And like, you go and you whack the guard on the head and then you sneak up and then the rogue in his voice goes, "Hey, let me in. It's Larry."
Yeah. So then I'm trying to think if there's something else we picked already or have built that kind of does that.
Yeah.
Let me look real quick. So we have the con man as one of the archetypes for the sneak thief.
Okay. Yeah, that may be a thing for him.
And that might fit into
Step on his toes.
Thing. Not that we can't step a little bit on I guess it's the issue always becomes on like learn a cantrip doesn't step on the mage's toes because it's so simple.
Because there's so many cantrips to pick.
Yeah. But learn a real class-specific, or especially an archetype-specific skill might feel a little iffy.
Oh, what about once a day you can make an attack as a quick action or something?
I actually was kind of thinking something like that. I just wasn't sure. We wouldn't want to make it as good as the fighter, but
no, it's just once a day.
Maybe once a day, maybe once a combat. You think it's too much?
Yeah, I think too much.
Okay.
Maybe instead is once a day you can attack twice with your main action.
Oh, because then a fighter could
still take it.
Yeah, I think I like that.
Yeah. That makes it good for everybody.
So, okay, so for writing that, is that going to be... is that going to apply to anything? Like you could cast a cantrip?
No, I think just attack.
You can make
a weapon attack.
Yeah. Once a day, you can use your main action to make. Is it use your main action, or is it essentially?
You may make 2 weapon attacks with your main action instead of 1.
Or should it be? I guess that's probably pretty clear. I think that would probably work.
So
I was starting to think of it as maybe once a day, you may make a weapon attack as a free action.
No, I think it's still got to be part of your action. Because that means you're still attacking and using that action. If it's a free action, you could do a skill check and then make a free action attack and then a quick action attack or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be less.
But I think tying it into
more versatility. Yeah.
That you may make 2 weapon attacks with your main action instead of 1.
So 2 weapon attacks instead of bonus damage on a weapon attack?
So. I think you just get to roll twice.
Yeah, I know that's going to... Well, maybe that won't. I feel like that's probably going to be unique because I don't think the Weapon Master is going to have a feature exactly like that. It's probably going to stack
even if
really
he does,
well.
you can take that one.
Well, and it's actually going to work because he's going to have a special attack that's for every time he's attacked something.
Someone. So he even wants this to make his thing better.
Yeah. I think this works. Yeah.
So, yeah. It's good stuff, y'all. Oh, what about a non-lethal damage feat?
Possibly. Let me read this one.
Okay.
Let me read this to you first. When you make a weapon attack, you may make a second weapon attack as a part of that action once a day. Or
when you make a weapons attack as your main action, I think it should be in there so that there's no confusion about quick action attacks on fighters. But other than that, yes.
Yeah. When you use your action, you make a
weapon attack.
I'm just going to call it extra attack.
Yeah. I dig it.
Okay. So what was it that you said?
Non-lethal damage feat, because we talked about that's really hard to do.
Oh, yeah. We were discussing the concept of...
Yeah, I mean, knocking somebody out with in any way is super bad for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it isn't as simple as D&D makes it.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a sword.
Yeah, I feel like you should be trained for that.
Yeah. So should it be something to do with... Okay, so we decided that you could use your fists.
Yes.
Is how we were playing it.
Those are, you could do lethal or non-lethal damage with fists. All other weapons, unless they are explicitly stated as dealing non-lethal damage, cannot do non-lethal damage.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think we made you have to make a check initially, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
You had to make a finesse check.
Yeah.
So
it could just be you don't need to make finesse checks to deal non-lethal damage.
With weapon attacks.
Yeah.
You still, when you shoot someone with a firebolt,
yep.
I'm sorry, that's lethal damage.
There is no such thing as non-lethal fire damage.
Yeah.
I froze him non-lethally.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work too well. All right. So, yeah. Oh, what's a good name for that?
Hits the spot.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was thinking in the vein of like Feather Strike.
Oh, I was thinking Bad Touch.
Oh, Bad Touch? Question mark?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh fuck.
I'll just put non-lethal attack until you come up with a really good one.
Orcish anesthetic.
That's just silly. I don't dislike it.
Yeah. Maybe dwarven anesthetic.
That sounds like a beer.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the next deep rock beer. Bedtime. Lights out.
I like that. That generically fits.
Yeah. We got there.
Maybe it should just be called KO.
KO. Yeah. I like that.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
KO, you no longer have to make finesse checks to deal non-lethal damage with a weapon attack.
Yeah.
Might end up phrasing that differently later, but that gets the point across.
Yeah. Every ranger bounty hunter is going to take that feat.
And the way I phrased it would allow you to do non-lethal damage with ranged weapons.
Yeah, I assume that's you breaking the head off an arrow and shooting somebody or whatever. But
which normally you can't deal non-lethal damage with a ranged weapon. But in my opinion, if you're taking a talent, this lets you do it with melee and ranged weapons.
Absolutely. You are particularly good at knocking people out.
Yeah.
Without killing them.
Agreed.
Or causing them serious harm.
Yeah. Without mortally injuring
it's knocking
them.
Somebody out and killing them are this far apart.
Yeah. Anybody can use their fists. If it's a melee weapon, you can
need a finesse check.
Make a finesse check.
Normally you can't do it. But if you have this feat, it's just all fair game, buddy.
Yeah, ranged or melee both. And there is not a feat for non-lethal magic damage. There are just spells that knock people out or do that.
Yeah.
But you can't do non-lethal with a damage spell.
There is a sleep spell and a fireball spell, and they do very different things.
Yeah.
I like these.
I do too.
These are way better than what we had.
It also brought an idea to mind as well. I know that spells will all cost resource, right? That's how we have it built. And it'll cost more resource for more powerful spells to a higher tier that you make it, or as you gain higher tiers. And as you gain higher tiers, you will probably gain other ways to gain resource.
Yes.
Or ways that improve your resource gain.
Generation, yeah.
However that works, which we've got some ways we already came up with, but we'll come up with
like
more.
The necromancer.
Yeah.
Ripping the souls out of people to top up his magic pool. The
sorcerer.
Yeah, you can harvest it from your teammates.
Yeah, we've come up with some already. What if there is another category of cantrips?
Yeah.
That's like strong cantrips. And I don't know how this would work. But what if there's another category of cantrips that are, let's say, in the power level of D&D's like level 1 and maybe level 2 spells.
Okay.
And you get those at tier 3. So if you're
like a greater cantrip?
Yeah, like a greater cantrip. And if you're a tier 3 mage or sorcerer or whatever, magic users that are like full magic users.
Yeah.
And if you reach tier 3, there are a list of greater cantrips that are a little more, they
got some more oomph.
Yeah, there's some other type of utility that we didn't allow for in this, like a sleep spell.
Yeah.
Like make one person go to sleep.
Like that,
like not an AoE sleep spell, but like put one person to sleep, and you can just do that. You can only maybe have one person asleep at a time. So this isn't a cast one every turn and make everyone go to sleep, but
I don't
like
hate that.
Well, an interesting maybe first tier thing. I think it's something
we don't have fucking anything for tier 3 right now, we may as well write that down as our first idea.
Yeah, I don't know where that will go, but the idea of a greater cantrip might be something cool for later game.
Yeah, that'd be a cool 3rd level wizard thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I guess I'll just put it down in working concepts. I don't really have anywhere else to put it.
Yeah, that's how undone tier 3 is.
That's how like there is no framework for putting this somewhere.
We don't even have that section, man.
Not Gator cantrip.
Gator cantrip.
Although, now that I mention it, I think a gator cantrip.
Absolutely. I cast summon gator.
I like that. I want that. Just name a character Gator.
Yep.
What do you do? Summon gators.
Where you live with the gators.
Yeah.
What's your name, Gator?
Let me guess. You eat gator? Oh, hell no. You sick freak. I don't eat gators.
I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah. Greater.
I eat leaf lovers.
Yeah. All right. Greater cantrip.
Gator cantrip.
I did not write gator cantrip down. That's obviously going to exist in
it's an April 1st release right there.
Yeah, you'll be able to probably summon a gator with some summon spell that you'll get later.
100%.
But definitely we will have an April Fool's gator cantrip. Okay, fine. I'll write it in working concepts.
Yeah.
I guess I actually have to write like an April Fool's section.
Oh, I think I've got it.
Oh, you do?
Here.
Oh, okay, great. Then you put it on yours because I don't have
put it
that
in my
section.
less official phone notes.
Yeah, I don't even know that they're less official, but probably just like less organized.
Yes, in the order that I think of them.
Yeah. Often, if you put something in a phone note, it makes its way into the game somehow.
Like one of these days. Not cantaloupe, you stupid piece of machinery.
And I haven't had a cantaloupe in a while.
Either.
Do you prefer cantaloupe or honeydew?
Cantaloupe.
Me too.
I didn't like honeydew for a long time, and it's only now that I am an adult that I can even stomach it.
Yeah.
Which weirdly also happened to blueberries. Used to not like them. Now they're delicious. I don't know what the deal is.
I've always liked blueberries. I'm not a big blackberry fan.
I don't like store-bought blackberries. I do like the ones I pick out at my house, but man, they got seeds.
Yeah, they do. That's why I don't like them. Mm-hmm. My mom has like a bunch of blackberry bushes. We grow
like you picking them out of your teeth for days.
An obscene amount of blackberries.
Now,
but
some of the best barbecue sauce I've ever had in my life we made from the blackberries we picked. Clearly, they're designed for cooking with and not eating raw.
Interesting. I've never had them that way. I've had a lot of blackberry pies.
Yeah. I know you can't use the whole fruit. You got to do some thorough straining, clearly, but Flavor
Interesting.
wise, no notes.
Yeah, I do like the flavor of blackberries.
Mhm.
It's just the seeds always get me.
Yeah,
It's like, this is too many seeds.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is too many seeds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I think we've done about enough.
Yeah,
for this
so with that
section.
digression, I think we've done all we're gonna do tonight.
For all of you honeydew people listening, you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you are objectively incorrect.
Yeah.
In front of God and man alike.
Cantaloupe is better. And with that, see you next time.
Catch y'all on the flip side.